I strongly believe that the role of small NGOs and community-based organizations in advancing sustainable development goals cannot be overestimated. Those organizations are deeply rooted in communities, and to advance development goals, to advance social change, I believe trust is very important. And those organizations who have close connections to the communities they work with can actually build that trust, and they can mobilize people and motivate them to work on achieving the goals. They are so close to communities, they know what their issues are, they know what their priorities are, and they also know what their preferred solutions are. So they really have this in-depth insights on what's happening at community level and what is needed. In addition to that, they can also feed larger organizations who work at national level, who work at international level, with data, with stories from the community level. The most common challenge that organizations face across the globe is the limited access to funding, and especially limited access to flexible funding. This really hampers their ability to do their work, to achieve impact, to do the work they are so passionate about. And this has several consequences. First of all, people are trying to do as much as they can with limited resources. And generally speaking, people in civil society organizations are so passionate about what they do. They're so committed and they try to make it work, but there's a high risk of overburdening people. They face the risk of burning out. And this is something that we have to be open about, that we have to address and talk about. I think in addition to that, there's a high risk that organizations work donor-driven and they don't base their work on community priorities. So in order to survive, they have to go where the money is. They have to do what donors think is important to do, whereas it would be more important for them to base their work on community priorities and really accelerate, facilitate bottom-up development processes. And lastly, organizations don't have enough resources to invest in their institutional capacity, and that really threatens their sustainability. Will they be able to carry on their work? Are they just going from project to project, or are they able to build a strong organization that is able to continue their work in the long run? There's a very important role for donors and grant makers to play in strengthening the capacities of their grantee partners, of the organizations that they work with, especially by investing in institutional capacities that will strengthen their sustainability. And first of all, this asks for flexible, unrestricted resources that organizations can invest in their institutional capacities. However, it can also be strengthened in different ways, for example, by donors giving their network, making use of their network to connect partners to other organizations, by sharing expertise. But I believe that the resources, flexible resources, is the most important. And as a donor and grant maker, we really call on fellow donors to make resources available that allow partners to invest in their capacity to raise domestic resources. And we believe that is a really, really important aspect of institutional sustainability for various reasons. It allows organizations to mobilize different financial resources to diversify their income, but it also enables them to build local constituencies, which strengthens their legitimacy as an organization, and also enables them to define their own priorities. It enables them to, in their own context, mobilize resources, flexible resources, for which they can decide what is most needed. So we believe that mobilizing different types of resources, not being dependent on one income stream or just a small number of donors, is very important for the future of civil society organizations.